All right, welcome everyone. It's great to see you all, even the several of you that are not on camera. So I'm kind of visualizing. Um, so this is a trial balloon, so to speak. I don't think we've done these kind of pre-AGLG informal chats before. So as we are trying to bring more innovation and creativity into what we do, this is a new thing, and we did one last week which the feedback was favorable. But we are trying new things. And because we have a lot of new assistant governors and we're changing a lot in terms of how the district functions, we wanted to kind of get together before Socorro to have an open discussion, kind of pick your brain a little bit and see what you're thinking. And then when we get to Socorro, we'll be able to take everything that we've discussed and kind of apply it into the training that we do there. So we'll go ahead and do introductions first. Uh, if you don't know me, I'm Jeff Weinrack from the Rotary Club of Albuquerque del Sol, and I'm the district governor elect, term starting on July 1st. Jen, why don't we go to you next?
Sure. I'm Jen Dresser. I'm part of the Albuquerque Metro Rotary Club, and I'm also our district learning facilitator and currently a Central Area AG.
Yeah. By the way, if you see DLF as an acronym in communications like one I sent out, some of you may not. That is Jen. She is the DULF of our district. Larry?
As I unmute myself. Okay, I'm Larry Donegan. I'm AG for the Southern three clubs: Deming, which is my home club, Silver City, and Las Cruces. Um, we have two clubs there. So one of the Las Cruces clubs.
One, yeah, perfect. Thank you, Larry.
You're
Mark?
welcome.
Hi, everyone. Mark Goodman. I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Albuquerque. I'm the Lieutenant Governor for the Central Area this year and also the District Governor nominee designate. And my year will be 2829.
Cannot wait.
Yay.
Cannot wait. Thank you. Eileen?
I'm Eileen Comstock. I'm a member of the Socorro Rotary Club, currently president, and have been asked to be an AG in the coming year. And I'm going to be the camp doctor at Ryla for the boys' camp and the girls' camp.
Nice. Excellent. Will there be mental health resources there as well for some of us?
Oh, I'm a good listener.
Okay, great. Great. Thank you. Harold?
Yeah, Harold Schultz. I'm a member of the El Paso Sunrise Club, and I'm the one of the AGs in the El Paso area.
Awesome. Thank you, Harold. Mark, who is not Mark? Christy?
I'm Christy Dimke. I'm the current president of the Club of Albuquerque Metro. And I guess I signed up to be an AG this year too.
Yes, of your own volition. Thank you, Christy. Melinda?
I am the current president of the Roswell Pecos Valley Rotary Club, and I've been asked to also be a new assistant governor for this upcoming Rotary year.
Outstanding. Thank you, Melinda. Mike?
Mike Hackett. I'm a member of the El Paso Rotary Club of El Paso and Lieutenant Governor for El Paso and Southern New Mexico, Deming, Las Cruces, Silver City, and Tiercy.
Awesome, Mike. Thank you very much. George?
I'm George Greenlee. I'm a member of the Los Lunas Club. I'm currently an AG in the central area, and I've been asked to step into the giant shoes of Mark Goodman as he moves up.
You're going to do great, George. Thank you very much. Matt, is it Matt or Matthew?
Matt, it's fine. Hi, I'm Matt Nyland with the Rotary Club of El Paso, and I'm going to be AG-elect for this coming year in July.
Fantastic. Thank you, Matt. Ophelia.
Hi, everybody. Good night. My name is Ofelia Maletzko. I'm past president for two clubs, the West Side Rotary Club, and also I started the Zaragoza Rotary Club. And over the last probably 2-3 years, I've been working with Jeff and other leadership committees. And so this coming year, I'll be working with him as an assistant governor.
Fantastic. Thank you. Gabriella.
Hi, everyone. I am Gabriela Eaton, currently president of the Rotary Club of White Sands, and I will be assistant governor for the coming year with Jeff.
And the
This is
rule
Cleo.
Thank you. You have to introduce your animal.
Sorry,
Oh.
it's new for me, and yeah, it's a hairless cat.
Love him.
That's great. Thank you. Jen, before we get into the meat, can I just say one thing about all the new people?
Please.
So I am fortunate to have administrator access to Club Runner. So I can go in and generate reports and look at things that a lot of us don't have the access to, and I really appreciate the net giving me that access. So I was able to go in and kind of look at the history of the current group of assistant governors, how many years did they serve, and so on. And a lot of the assistant governors, not all of them, a lot of them have served at least 3 years. And so when I reached out to them a few months ago, I asked, would you like to serve again? If you're not really passionate about serving again, if I find someone that can step in and serve in your role, would you be okay with that? And maybe we can find another district leadership role. And many of them said, oh, that would be fine. If you can find someone else, that would be fine. If not, I would be happy to serve. And so we were able to find, and a lot of you were on the call today, a lot of people, some of you are current presidents, which is fantastic, who are interested in stepping in. So this is also kind of new to have so many new assistant governors and new people serving or stepping in to serve as lieutenant governor. And I feel like given the changes we're making and kind of perhaps a different role or a different way that we work with clubs, that having a lot of new people is going to be a benefit to us because we'll be able to learn from those of you who have not done this before. It's not like we're going to be, this is our lane, this is what we do. It's really open. And I think we're going to discover as a group, not just what we do, but how we do it, what works, what doesn't work, and things like that. So that's partly why there's so many new people. It wasn't that there was anything wrong with the ones who were serving. It was really just tenure and bringing in some new people. So feel free to ask any questions as we go through this. This is an open forum. We do have a couple of things we want to go over, and then we're going to open up to questions. Jen, do you want to go first?
Well, by making the statement, like there's nothing wrong with the current class of AGs, and I'm a current class of AG, I'm like, there's something wrong with me. I knew it. I knew it.
No, nothing. No, but Jen is a perfect example. When Jen and I spoke, it was, you've served a few years, you're also a learning facilitator. If we find someone, would you be okay? And you said yes, but if we can't, you're okay serving another year. So
yep.
There were a lot of people in kind of your position of, I'm willing to serve again, but if you find someone that will be able to serve in my role, I'm okay shifting or not serving again next year.
Yeah, because I actually really like the role. The AG role it can be a pretty fun role. Like you get to go to the clubs, you get to be, like you interact and you build a relationship with those clubs. So it is really fun. So I was hoping to bring someone new in because we need more we need more new people. So that was really the only reason I gave up my role. Thank you very much. But yeah, so, and I'm going to focus more on the learning facilitator role, but it's a good job. It's fun. I would say existing AGs, George, Harold, is it fun? Now I'm putting you on the spot and you're gonna be like, no, it's a terrible job. Terrible. It's pretty good, Larry. Yeah, it's good. It's really nice to visit the clubs and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, and then you asked me to go first, Jeff, with, you wanted me to go into the next part, or?
You know what? I can do the expectations first.
Perfect.
Okay. So we had sent out the job description when we were discussing the role next year. We didn't make too many changes to the job description, but as we'll discover, there are nuances and things that we will learn about serving in this role that may not be a bullet on a job description. There are expectations, and I thought it would be a good starting point for the discussion to kind of lay out at least what I'm thinking on two fronts. One is our relationship with clubs, and secondly, a focus for Rotary International on more innovation and new ideas, which I'm really glad they're doing. So we have been working, and few of you have been on this group. We've been working on what we're calling a club engagement model, and the premise is that while clubs are focusing on member engagement, which is really important, obviously, at the district level, we should be focusing on club engagement. How well are we working with clubs? Are we collaborating? Are we working together? Are they listening? Are they reaching out to us? How good a relationship do we have, and can we improve on that? So I would say from the very beginning that I was selected, I really been trying to understand and to improve this notion of club engagement. I will say some of the reason behind that is that when I was thinking about running for governor, Rotary International was informing districts that they would like to see changes to how governors do club visits. And I thought, well, that's really interesting. I have a full-time job. I can't do the traditional club visits. So I started asking some of the past district governors like Tom Walker and Dick Jones and others about engagement with clubs and the importance of the club visit and how all that works. Tom Walker mentioned to me, he said, well, you know, Jeff, there are some clubs where the only interaction that they have is when the governor visits. And that really struck me. Probably not too many clubs, but the fact that there are any clubs in the district whose sole interaction, and again, this might have been from a few years ago, but the only interaction they had was when the governor visits. It's like, okay, well, if I'm not going to be visiting every club, then we have to change or improve how we do engagement because there has to be other interaction. And that really kind of started this development of a club engagement model. The slide that I had sent out earlier that we'll have a chance to discuss tonight, this notion of getting the area councils to be more club-led and less district-led, and us working with them is also part of that notion of club engagement. That might be a great opportunity for collaboration and working together, but it would require the area councils to transition back to being club-led, which is what they used to be. So many things that we've been talking about kind of fall under that umbrella of, are we improving the engagement that clubs have with us? The survey that Jen sent out a few months ago to clubs for feedback is another good sign. The response rate to the survey was higher. And for those of you who do surveys, if you have a low response rate, it almost doesn't matter what the responses are. People are not engaged enough to respond to a survey. So there's a lot that we're doing to try to strengthen the relationship that we have with clubs. And so that's kind of where a lot of this came from. So for us, I would say one of the first expectations that we should have of each other is, are we working in a collaborative way with each other, with clubs? Is there a partnership? Are we listening? When we're communicating, are they listening? Do we have a trust with each other? Some of you who have been assistant governors for a while, you may have seen that it takes some time to build up that trust. But that's really important. And for those of you who are new assistant governors, that might be one of the first things that's going to come out of the discussions you have with the incoming president and the board and all that, is to kind of build that trust, so that you can have open and honest discussions with them. So to me, that's one expectation for all of us, is to be thinking collaboration, partnership. We're all in this together. We're going to learn together. We're going to try things. We're going to not always succeed. And this came out of the International Assembly. That was the big training I was at a couple of weeks ago for all the governors-elect from around the world. Big push on innovation. I mean, really big. They're really embracing it now. And a lot of what they said was, innovation comes with failure. It's inevitable. Not everything we try is going to work. But what they said, and what I firmly believe, is that the key is to learn when something doesn't work and to try again. And so if we're working with clubs on membership strategies, not every strategy is going to work, but we should learn from that, and we should learn from each other. So if several clubs are doing really well, why are they doing really well? And are there things that we can learn from them that we can apply elsewhere? And even when we apply something that works elsewhere, that also doesn't guarantee it's going to work. We're all different, but at least we should try and discover and monitor. Mark is the district governor nominee designate. Laura Gonzalez, who is either on her way or is at the SCRI Rotary Youth Exchange Conference. The three of us are aligned in this notion of trying new things and learning, in part because trying new things and learning often takes more than 1 year. So this upcoming year may be a lot of learning and flailing and trying, and then all of a sudden a few things hit, and then they get worked on the following year. So we really want this to be a longer term process than just a 12-month period. And so I'm really happy that Laura and Mark and Vice Governor Sonny, that we're all in the same mindset of, we need to try new things. The status quo is not sustainable. And trying new things may take longer than one Rotary year. The one that I sent out in the reminder email is also part of that, which is open and timely communication. Those of you who know me, I try not to communicate too often, but I try to make them timely. I do work full time, so if you try to reach out to me, you may not get me for a couple hours because I may be in meetings, but I will always try to respond fairly soon if you reach out to me, at least to say, I got your text or I got your email. I may reply tomorrow. But I do think it's important. You know, we're so spread out in this district. We're going to be texting a lot, and emails and phone calls, things like that. Just please be open and timely. If we don't hear from someone for a while, we may feel like something may have happened, which is possible. One thing we talked about last week is maybe we have emergency contacts for everyone, because God forbid something happens to someone. It's good for us to know, and we can make adjustments. But the open part is, we need to be honest. I'd rather be transparent and hear everything than hear part of everything and not get a full picture. I will make every effort to be open and honest and transparent with you all and with the club presidents, maybe to a fault, but please feel free to be open and honest with me. That means open and honest feedback, like how's tonight going? What can we do better? I've been in quality my entire career, and part of being a quality practitioner is accepting and learning from feedback. There's always opportunity. So I would say those are my expectations for all of us. Collaboration, partnership, and open and timely communication. And being willing to fail as long as we learn from that. Questions? Feedback? Does that register? And some of you are, your club presidents this year. You probably are in a better situation to talk about trying things and having things work, having things not. How do you make adjustments? How do you bring the club along when something doesn't work? Because they may have higher expectations than we do, and they may not think of failure as a learning opportunity. They just say, well, that didn't work, let's give up or something, I mean, so that for those of you who are presidents now, this may help you in working with other clubs to try to get that mindset into them too. Any thoughts or insights from your own experience on that?
Looks like Mark has his hands up.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, just one thing, Jeff, and you and I have talked about this, and I agree completely about the importance of innovation. And there are some really important things that Rotary has that are how would I want to say that really are gems that age has burnished. And so in our focus on innovation, which is important, then we don't want to also lose track of those things that ground us in who we are and what we do. Those gems that we have inherited from our founding, really. So.
Yeah. By the way, and I would say this if there were Rotary International people in this meeting. So again, part of being open and honest. I don't think they just woke up one day and said, I think we should be innovative. I think they are concerned about numbers and trends. They're not liking the trends. And I think they're a little late to this. I think they were a little late years ago to public image and how important that was. I think they're a little late to this. But I'd rather them come around and say, yes, we need to try new things, even though they maybe should have been more proactive and seen this coming and had more of an innovative culture years ago. But I think that's where we are. Gabby, go ahead.
I agree with you, Jeff. So just to share a little bit of my experience, I've been the president of my club these 7 months, and I do marketing for a living, right? I'm a marketer, and every time that we do something, I post it on Facebook, I share it, and even if it doesn't have a million of likes, I know that people are seeing that content, and they are always asking me. People that are not Rotarians, they are always asking me like, "Hey, how this works and stuff like that." However, well, I volunteer for the Rose Parade for our float this last Rose Parade. And one thing that surprised me a lot, it was that there was not a lot of content in the Rose Parade page. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I mean, this float is so beautiful. It is a piece of art. Like every color is flowers or seeds. It's really beautiful. And there were so many Rotarians. Of course, I did content for my club, right? But there was not a lot of content for the Rose Parade official site. And I'm like, yeah, we need a person that especially I'm sorry, that focus on taking videos and pictures, for example, like projects like this one, like the Rose Parade. And yeah, that was what I wanted to share with you.
Yep. You're right, Gabby.
The what?
Oh, I just said you're right. No, it makes sense
Oh,
what you're saying. Sorry.
yes. And why these? Because I feel that everyone is welcome in Rotary, right? It doesn't matter genres, it doesn't matter religions, ages, it doesn't matter, right? But I feel that if we are more active in what is going on social media, there's a lot of people that are just scrolling their social media, and it will be awesome if we can find more content about all the things we do.
Agreed.
Any other thoughts or feedback? So moving forward, there's going to be a lot of questions. Oh, George, you've got your hand up. Go ahead.
Kind of to tag along on that theme, one of the wonderful things that Rotary has is RILA, and yet nobody really knows about RILA. In terms of the rest of this outside of the Rotary community, and even within the Rotary community, it's just an amazing camp. But there's really people don't, unless you've been a counselor, you don't really know what happened, the magic that happens at the camp, and it is magic, and that's something that I think if we publicized more, it would do us a lot of good.
One final point, and then we're going to move on. And this is just from observation. Some of you know, and we're going to invite the rest of you to be part of this now that we've had this discussion, but we have monthly forums with the incoming presidents. And part of the reason we're doing that is because we want to take the time to share with them this kind of sense of opportunity. If they have the mindset that everything is going fine, when let's say it's not, then there's not much we can do to push them away from that mindset. So part of what we're doing in these monthly meetings is we're sharing how things are going, and we're hoping that they, through those discussions, recognize that the status quo is not sustainable and is not sufficient, and that even if things are going fairly well, we still have opportunities and we should pursue them. So it can't just be on us. We have to really have the club leadership kind of be in that same mindset, which is why we're developing this kind of collaboration model. So, Melinda?
Yes. So something our club is not great at is social media, and that's kind of been on my list of something that we could do. And of course, when I first came in, it's not that the idea wasn't there, but everybody looked to me and said, "Oh, well, why don't you do it?" And I didn't bring it up. I joined the club and they were like, "Hey, we want someone to do our social media." Well, I don't particularly engage that much, and it's not my favorite thing to do. So that's really why it hasn't happened, because I didn't really want to be the one to do it. It's not my thing. So I've been looking for people in our club that I do think are more into that. But really what I wanted to say is that our club was really struggling, and I think like a lot of clubs. And we're also hosting an exchange student right now through the Rotary Exchange. Like I am personally, me and my husband. And I asked his friend, we were hosting them last night before they left. Another Artesia student came and stayed at our house before they left for the exchange today. And I said, "So Martine, I knew that our students' parents were not in Rotary. So I asked the other student, are your parents in Rotary?" And he said, "No, but my grandpa is." And that to me is like sort of it's like an overarching truth of Rotary. And so like his parents would be about my age, a little older, but there's really not, it's like that next generation above. And then people didn't really come up. So one thing our club did, because we were dwindling and we talked like, are we gonna shut down our club? Are we gonna like be absolved and people go into the other Roswell club, or what are we gonna do? Because as it's going now, it's not gonna happen. And so they had nominated me already as president-elect. And so we talked and we decided we're just gonna really shake everything up. And we decided to just go to 2 meetings a month. And there was pushback on that because that feels to a lot of people who've been there for a long time, oh, well, this is like, we're just going to die. Like, we're only meeting twice a month, you know. But what happened is it rejuvenated our club to do that because, and this is why we wanted to do it. There were several people we would approach, younger people, about joining, and they said, I just can't do like a weekly commitment. Like, that's just too much. And also, then your dues are higher, especially if you're doing lunch. And so we do lunch. And, you know, people have other priorities. And also, if they feel that they're not engaged, it just became an issue and we weren't gaining any membership. But now, so from July to now, we were at 12 members and we've gained 6 because people are really interested and saying, okay, like I can commit to 2 meetings a month. And also we used to sometimes, so we have speakers, you know, every meeting, and a Rotarian would be responsible. And we didn't change anything about that. Like, everybody's still on a list. The same person sends out the list, so you know if it's your week. But what used to happen is people would forget, or we would show up and something would fall through. And so we wouldn't have, which sometimes it was nice to talk to your club members, right? But we've noticed the club is much more engaged. The programs that we have, nobody has skipped. Like, it's always been a really great program. So it's like much more meaningful, I think, to people because we are only doing it 2 times a month. And then every 5th Wednesday, we do something special. So, you know, we went to our Miniatures and Curious Collections Museum, and that was really fun. We did that for our 5th Wednesday. And the district governor, I think, came during that time. But I just wanted to say that what Jeff is saying, I think, is just really true. Like, and who was it, Mark, that said to keep some of the old things. Like, you don't have to change everything, but something that I mean, if you don't do anything, then yeah, we would have just folded, right?
Yep.
So that's it.
And I'm kind of glad you had that experience. I mean, I'm not glad that you went through that exactly, Melinda, but I'm glad you have that experience because as an AG, that is the job. When you see a club that's struggling and they need new ideas, you have firsthand experience of how making a simple change, relatively simple change like that, totally rejuvenated your club. So with your experience in that, you have credibility with the club when you go in there and you're trying to make that, like, give them ideas on how to change things. You can say, look, I experienced this. It's not just an idea on a page or something I found online. This really happened. And a lot of the sharing we can do as a team, learning from each other, where we have real examples like that, can just even build up the support that we're giving the clubs and our value to them. So I think that's probably the most critical part of the job. But I just wanted to, because we have so many new people, and I'm going to make this really brief. Everybody got the job description, but it's a lot of text, and reading a job description is a little bit different than actually doing the job. But I thought that we could boil it down to a few key points and just see if this makes sense to everybody. So as Jeff kind of alluded to earlier, you are the liaison. You are building the relationship, and I'll get to engagement a little bit later. But your primary job is to build the relationship with your clubs. And to do that, you really do have to be in contact with them. If your clubs are far away, maybe you're not going there quite as often, but phone calls, texts, stay in touch with them, find out what their issues are. And then, just like you shared, Melinda, that's a great example of how you can help them with something that worked for your club. And you want to connect with their committees, all that kind of stuff. And then the second one is, as I just said, strengthening the club success through the regular visits and coaching. So that's really important, is coaching your clubs to see how they can improve what they're doing, making sure they're doing some of the things that they have to do. Like we all have to file taxes, and it's a relatively simple form, but you do need to make sure your clubs are doing it because they can get in real trouble if they're not. So just things like that. And you want to monitor their progress. So looking at Rotary Club Central to see what goals they have, if they've entered goals, and talking to them about the value of goals. Like I think people have a lot of conceptions that goals create more work. They don't have to. They can represent what you're already working on, and it kind of keeps everybody on the same page. And then you have something to celebrate when you get there. So it doesn't have to be painful. And then we have like an AG LG visit form on rotary5520.org that our district governors have asked us to always fill out after we complete a visit. So that would be part of your responsibilities. And then preparing and supporting club leaders, making sure, like one of those things they have to do is PELS, it's required. But I think the fact that some of you are just recently presidents and you went to PELS, if you got something out of it, you can really share that with your club presidents that you're supporting as an AG. So again, that experience is critical. And then finally, promoting engagement. And that engagement, I really don't think, I mean, everything we're doing at the district is really good and really important, but the AGs have such a critical role in that engagement piece because you are at the clubs. So those are some of the most important things I see in the job description. Does that make sense to everybody? And does that align with what you were thinking the job was, or did you think it might be different? And feel free to share, like, I mean, this is what, so depending on your AG for your club, they may have been doing some of this. You may not have seen them very often. We're trying to change that, like at least the connection. Like sometimes the travel can be difficult, but the connection with the clubs is really important. So your experience with your AGs as well kind of informs this. So what are any thoughts on the job itself?
I think that description describes exactly what I've seen from other assistant governors through the years.
Good. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you're seeing that, we want to keep it going for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything else?
Again, just to be open, correct me if I'm wrong, Jen. I think the session we had last week with the other group that couldn't make it tonight.
Yeah.
I think one of them said, I don't know who my AG currently is.
Yes. And in some cases, and in some clubs, that is the case. So yeah. We're trying to change that.
Yeah. We are shoring up the network so that we won't hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jen, maybe you know, but doesn't Club Runner tells you who the club president is, who the AG is, and who the governor is?
It does. Does
that get updated? Does that not get updated, or do you know?
It does, but a lot of people don't use the web, like all the pages of the website. Like they might go just on the main page and look at events or something. But and we have had some changes to the website, so where things used to be aren't necessarily where they are now. So we can certainly improve that. But yes, it is within the site's data. It's there.
Right, and I wasn't talking about websites, but just Club Runner. When you use the app Club Runner, you look up. Yeah.
Yep. And Christy knows because I'm always pushing Club Runner in our club. I love Club Runner, so I'm trying to get more people to use it. The Club Runner app, I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I wanted to say on the job description, and we do want to save time for like an open forum. So, Jeff, did you want to talk about the functional org chart, or should we switch to the forum?
Well, I sent out this visual. We don't have to go over it tonight. We do want to save time for questions, but that visual is kind of this one aspect of club engagement where these area councils, there's 4 of them right now. They are district led. We want to transition them to be club led. And right now, the central area is going to be club led starting in July. Mark Demke, Chrissy's husband, is going to chair the Central Area Council. Over the next few months, we would like to get each area to have one of the incoming presidents agree to lead it. And that will really help in this collaboration that we're looking for. And if you want to think about the area councils could be something like an innovation hub. Clubs get together, share ideas. The ideas that people come up with when they're together are usually better than any ideas that people have individually. So if we can get them together, take ownership over that, we would support them. That's part of what we want to do. So I'd send this out ahead of time if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Feedback would be really helpful, but this is what we're intending to kind of be as this view of how the district and the clubs work together going forward. More like this, with dotted lines, which in an org chart reflects collaboration and partnership.
Okay.
So, you know, your feedback is welcome at any time about this. We'll talk more about it at AGLG training and also at PELS. But we also do want to leave time tonight for your questions and your thoughts and kind of things you're thinking about that we can talk about tonight.
Perfect.
Yeah, Jeff, I do have a question on the term area councils. Is this a replacement for the monthly Council of Presidents meetings that we have?
Okay, great question. So my sense is that we have been inconsistent in language across the district. They used to be called President's Councils, I think, when they started. And we are currently in 5 areas, and I think it's called areas. So the South is an area, the North, the East, Central, and the Southeast. The Southeast are the 3 beautiful clubs in east of El Paso, so Fort Stockton, Marfa, Van Horn. Each area ideally has a lieutenant governor. So right now, Mark is a lieutenant governor, Mike is a lieutenant governor, George is going to be a lieutenant governor. But they kind of shifted from president's councils to area councils because, again, they were not president-led. So the one that you're referring to is probably the El Paso one. I don't know exactly what you call it, but it basically is that. It's the South, which is primarily El Paso, but it's also Las Cruces and Anthony and Silver City, getting together regularly to talk about stuff. I know, Harold, you've been really involved in that council as well. That would be the one that we're referring to as the Area Council of the South. So that we've got that one. We've got the one in Albuquerque for the central area. The East is so big that they may get together once in a while, but they have a lot of their meetings by Zoom. Is that right? East people, like Bianca will run it, or Veronica, someone like that. The North is kind of like that. It's very spread out. They try to get together once in a while in Santa Fe, but they have a lot of their meetings by Zoom. So I think what you were referring to, that's one of the councils that we are referring to that we want to transition it to be more club-led. Yes.
And that's perfect, provided that the club presidents are aware that they are taking charge, because I've been, we call it a council, the COPS meeting, Council of Presidents. We do it every month. We started doing them via Zoom because in-person meetings to get 8 clubs together in El Paso area was a challenge. But I can tell you that new incoming presidents I would say it was a challenge to pull information from them, because there was not I'll call it a leader among the 8 that would take charge of the meeting, which is why the AGs took charge. To try to guide the meeting, to get it going, and talk about cross-club collaborations and etc. So long as the club presidents are aware of that coming in, perfect.
I haven't shared this with all of you yet, but we've been talking about it in these monthly forums we have, but we also generated a value proposition for area councils to share with them. It's like, this is what the council can do for you and your club if you accept that. And we've gotten good traction on that. And if it's okay, I'll send that out to all the assistant governors, because we have shared that with incoming presidents, but we still have work to do. We still have work to do, but I would say for those of you who've been involved in those club president forums, they seem to be getting the message. It's might be slow, but it seems like they're getting that message. Because you're right, if they don't take that ownership, this model doesn't happen.
Jeff, you're talking about expanding this from just El Paso and including Las Cruces with the El Paso presidents as well as Silver City, Deming, and TRC into the same group since they're all in the South then. Which would be
ideally, yes.
Totally
Ideally,
different animal, and it would have to be done obviously by Zoom that way. So, but we'll have to get to work on that hard with the presidents this year.
Yeah. Eileen?
Just my feedback on that council. I've been going to the Central Area President's Council or Regional Council, Area Council for quite a while. I was the Zoom leader of it for a year or two. My dog is interrupting. And I like the idea of changing the name of it from Council of Presidents to Area Council, because we started asking more people who were interested to come, and we were doing it by Zoom mostly, and getting the president-elect people to come and interested club members who want to check in can get on the list to be part of that Zoom meeting. And I think that's a good way to build more connection. So calling it an area council, it's still that same council of presidents that we've been having all along, but it's that expanded a little bit with more outreach and more invitation. So I think that's good. I mean, outreach and invitation are really good things to help us make ourselves known in the world among other Rotarians and among our communities. And I really, just as another comment, I think it's great to be innovative, to change things. We old fogies have a habit of saying, well, it's not working, so let's just do more of the same thing harder and see if we get better results. And we don't. And so changing things is a good step. And then we assess what results we get from the changes and keep the ones that have the nicest results.
Yep.
So thank you.
It's great. Thank you, Eileen. Those councils, and again, I can only speak for the central one because that was one that I was going to mainly. It was a lot of like round robin kind of thing, like what's your club doing? What's your club doing? It was informative, but what was missing that we want to put into the model is brainstorm. Let's get together as a group and figure things out. Part of the reason is that our district strategic plan, which we will be working with you all on this upcoming year, has a lot of collaborative priorities in it, like membership growth. You know, clubs have more responsibility in growth than the district does, but the district also has a role. So how do we collaborate with clubs on something like membership strategies? So part of that is to get clubs together and brainstorm and come up with things, as opposed to us saying, do this or try this. So those councils provide a mechanism for that type of brainstorming that we otherwise don't really have. There's not like another natural occasion when club leadership gets together and can do something like that.
And now that we're getting close to the end, I'd like to pick on a couple folks that we haven't really heard from, if that's okay, just to give them an opportunity to speak. So Christy, I'll pick on you because you're in my club. So any thoughts? And what are you thinking so far about the AG job? You still glad that you signed up for it? Any questions or concerns?
I'm still on. That's true.
Great. That's great.
I'm excited. I think collaboration is a huge part of what we're trying to do, Jen, in our club, and collaborate with other clubs. So I think that's really exciting. I think the 3-year goal, 3-year strategic plan is also really exciting because it's hard to have a nice, neat year tied up in a bow. And I think, there's continuity at the top, but I think bringing it down to the club level and making sure that clubs have succession plans so they can have a 3-year plan. Usually it's been year to year. So I think it's going to be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. And then Matt, I don't think you've heard much from you, so just want to make
I
sure
introduced myself earlier. I'm just
you
kidding.
did. You did.
No, I'm very
Yeah.
excited about the AG position. When I was president, I went around and visited other clubs and got to know other presidents, and I think it's very, very important to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to doing that again because it gives your own club new ideas on what other clubs are doing and how they handle stuff, their little rituals, their things that they do, and implementing those in your own club or they implement stuff in their club. But I think the most important thing is collaboration. And I think a lot I've been in Rotary since 2005, and our club, the Rotary Club of El Paso, is the biggest one in El Paso.
Mhm.
When I joined, it was 317 members. We're maybe, I think last count was 110. So it's very, very important to collaborate, and it's very, very important to get the word out. And I look at this group that's on the Zoom call, and I keep thinking to myself, one, what keeps me engaged in Rotary, and what keeps you all engaged in Rotary, and how do we get that engagement to everyone else? What is it? What's that one thing that's missing that people that aren't Rotarians aren't seeing? And so I've been thinking a lot about that, and I don't know. It's why are some people interested in certain things, and why are other people not interested in certain things? But one other thing is we have a member in our club who's very active in the social media aspect and publication and publicity and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's important each club probably has a tech savvy person that can be engaged in that and have each club have its own page or spread across different social media platforms and are constantly posting, maybe doing sponsored links. I don't know anything about that. I'm not that savvy about it, but maybe there should be a budget for each club that puts a few bucks to sponsor posts so it gets into everyone's social media. They go, hey, what's this group? What are they doing? And have special posts dedicated to that. Like Gabriella mentioned the parade. I mean, look at what we're doing. We're having this beautiful parade. Look at our float. And then people see that. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so I think did I miss anybody? Anybody that didn't get a chance to say anything at all? Because I just want to give an opportunity. And then open it back up for the last few minutes. Anything else that anybody wants to raise?
And I was thinking, one of the things I've noticed about the area council meetings is sometimes each club seems like they need to explain everything that happened in the past month in their club. And of course, if you have a large club, you can spend 15 minutes talking about all the different things going on. I think if we said each club share one thing that you would like to share with the other clubs present, or share one problem that you'd like feedback on, then that would be more useful.
Yes.
It's a great idea, George.
I think one of the most useful meetings of that council, of the Central Council, was the time when one of our club presidents was expressing total depression about how everything was going down the tubes, and they were thinking about quitting and closing and leaving, and we all chipped in and shared how we had felt that way at different times. And there was a brainstorming of suggestions of ways that we could invigorate ourselves at our clubs. And it was a really good round of discussion.
Agreed.
totally unexpected, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Any other thoughts, questions, feedback? Anything keeping you up at night about this, at least?
Yes,
I-
I would
I like-
have a question. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, George.
I was going to say I kind of like to use child psychology on the clubs that I visit. I always want to take something that is like a gift, some kind of token gift. It could be an object or it could be news that they don't know. So they get the feeling that, oh, we like this George. He's always bringing us something.
Tips and tricks, George. Love it. I love it. Write that down, everybody. Go ahead, Ophelia.
I was just wondering if we already have one of the area councils or councils of presidents functioning as a club led, or we're gonna kick it in and then coming year. Not yet. Okay.
As far as I know, the ones that are in place are not currently club led. I'm not aware of
Okay.
one. But we have one commitment for next year, and we're hoping for 3 more.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Uh,
And we're
Very quickly, since we're running, so just very quick. So I was in this innovative mindset when I was club president a few years ago. It's the second time I was club president. The club did not know until they introduced me, and I walked up as a member of the incoming board that I was going to be president again. So they were all like, whoa. And we're all standing there, and the treasurer, who I love, he was standing next to me. He whispered to me, he goes, so you're going to do this again? And I turned to him and I said, it's going to be scorched earth. And he had this look on his face. And it kind of was scorched earth, not as much as what we're envisioning here. And I would not use that term with our beloved club presidents next year.
maybe
But
not.
I said, yeah, it's going to be, and he and I talked about that later. And I said, that's how I feel. It's like, sometimes you have to flip things on its head and shake it up, like you were saying, Linda, and try new things. So yeah, it was a bit of scorched earth.
I think we should end on that note. Scorched earth, everybody. Scorched earth. And the only thing I was going to say, I just want to put in a commercial for the AGLG training in Socorro at the end of February. We're hoping everybody can make it. There isn't really a built-in recording because the value really comes from interacting in person. So if you can't make it, we're going to try to catch you up. But if you can be there, please try. And if there's something that came out of this meeting tonight that you're thinking about the role that you'd like to see in that training or addressed in that training, please tell me, because you could help shape the training and see what you want to see. So that's my little commercial. Scorched earth, everybody. Scorched earth.
And make time to visit the Mineral Museum while you're
Yeah,
there.
it's so cool.
Very cool.
It's free.
Thank
Thanks,
you all
everybody.
very much. Have a great evening, and please reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.